Good morning. This study was designed to understand human customs and traditions and how they affect the workplace in Bolivia. Specifically, this study seeks to answer these questions. How does the dominant religion affect business? How does family fit in the workplace? And how does social customs fit in the workplace? A little bit of background. High performance natural gas has given me the opportunity to better understand how these affect the workplace. If we're going to open a shop in Bolivia, we need to understand what these can do in our atmosphere and in our shop. For those of you who are not familiar with Bolivia, Bolivia is a Latin American country, and it's settled nicely between Brazil, Peru, Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay. Bolivia is also located just south of the equator. Bolivia is also known for Lake Titicaca, and it shares that with Peru. The two biggest cities in Bolivia are La Paz and Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz is located central east, and La Paz is located northwest in the country. It's also located. La Paz is also located near Lake Titicaca. Bolivia's dominant religion is Roman Catholic. Their official language is Spanish, Quechua, and Aymara. The official government of Bolivia is also a republic, which could be fairly good for us because it might be a more smoother transition for us to open up a shop in Bolivia. On the first order of business, I'd like to discuss social customs and how they function in Bolivia. The first social custom is personal space. Personal space is not much of a space in Bolivia. People tend to stand right next to you. They tend to put their hand on your shoulder while talking to you, and they just simply are really very, very close in your personal space. And that could be an issue if we tend to open a shop in Bolivia and we tend to send some of our own employees down into Bolivia to work in the shop. Most of us here tend to like our personal space, and we need to let everyone know that, hey, we need to be aware that personal space could disappear while working in Bolivia, and to not take offense on that. This could definitely be a catastrophe in the workplace, especially when we're accustomed to having our space and we don't have it. That could cause some turmoil. We need to take that into consideration. One last thing I'd like to consider or talk about is eye contact. Eye contact is very strong in Bolivia, and Bolivians tend to favor direct eye contact over indirect eye contact. However, contact could lead to other things. Too aggressive eye contact between men and women could cause the woman to believe she's being flirted with, and it could cause a situation, especially for the married men. Eye contact is definitely a form of communication in Bolivia, and if we do it certain ways, it does say something about us. So we definitely need to continue research in the eye contact area and how that can affect the workplace. Also, how does religion affect the workplace in Bolivia? Well, the dominant religion, again, is Roman Catholic, which means there's definitely three major holidays that stand right out at the very beginning when you say Roman Catholic. There's Christmas, there's Easter, and then Lent. It's not really a holiday, but it's a part of Easter celebration. And Christmas, you know, I have a personal friend from Bolivia. She grew up there and just recently moved to the States here about 5 years ago. But Carmen said that on Christmas time they usually give Christmas Eve as a half day, and they have Christmas Day off in the workplace. You know, you got to consider half days. Are we paying our employees holiday pay, all of that? And if we have too many holidays, could be a lot of money spent. Easter, on the other hand, Carmen said that they usually have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off for the holiday, which is 4 days, and it could be even more time, could be less production, you know, that kind of stuff. We need to consider that. And then thirdly, the third religion holiday is Lent. Lent typically is a time where Catholics decide to give up a bad habit or something to become closer to God. And oftentimes they tend to not eat red meat, and they choose to eat fish only. If we plan on opening a cafeteria in our shop, we need to take this into consideration. For 6 weeks out of the month, or out of the year, we need to consider feeding fish or feeding Lent-friendly menu items. And then with that being said, will that change production? Will that change money spent? How will that affect the workplace? Also, the very last thing we need to consider is family. How does family interact in the workforce? Carmen, she said that families work together. They open businesses together. Brothers and sisters, brothers and brothers tend to work together, and husbands and wives tend to work together. It could potentially be an entire family business. It's very similar to to businesses in the United States. One thing she did say, though, that the workforce still has women in the workforce, but they typically aren't holding high-ranking positions. She did say that this was kind of starting to diminish. Women are starting to get into the higher-ranking positions, but for the most part, men tend to hold those positions. We need to look into this because if we have a high-ranking woman official on our board, in our office, how is she going to be looked at in society, and what can we do to save face with her, keep her safe, or however that works out. Family is very important, and how will that affect us? And it tends to work well in Bolivia. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope my information was beneficial.